Thank you very much for that glowing tribute to a very common Admiral. Thank you. And respected Chief Guest, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I have not prepared a written text, I've just got some pointers. And I thought that so many seasoned diplomats and people who have passed life in international relations will be speaking before me. So I have tried to restrict my talk to what I have observed as a military officer. And as Ambassador Hilali said, he has had the opportunity and he was fortunate to live in the United States. Well, I can say that I was fortunate to live in India for 3.5 years as a Pakistani naval advisor. I have also had the occasion to live for 6-7 months in the United States, so I know a little bit about how these two countries see Pakistan. I will say that Pakistan's history of United States relationship goes back to our independence, and very soon after independence we had started developing our very long and I would say fruitful relationships between these two countries, which lasted till about 2005, 2006. On the other hand, India had cozy relationships with the United States for about 7 years after independence, but after 1954, when India started feeling that United States wants it to become a counterweight to China's increasing shadow over subcontinent and the Chinese Red Army spreading communism, India did not buy the American line, and they decided that they will follow a non-aligned policy. And ultimately, India was forced to face China in 1962 war, and the Americans came rushing with their arms and open offers of supplies of military equipment to India. But India still did not become friendly to China and friendly to United States. And India continued to follow the path of non-aligned movement, and India started developing a very close relationships with the United States of, Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, USSR, the erstwhile Russia. So much so that Indira Gandhi and President Nixon had very frosty relationships. And in 1971, you know that America did not support India when India waged the war against us for Bangladesh, and United States rushed its 7th Fleet to Bay of Bengal, and Indians made a lot of hue and cry. But all the same, I would say that after 1971, very significant event happened in 1974 when India exploded the peaceful nuclear explosion. The Americans said, well, it is not a good thing to do peaceful nuclear explosion, but it does not violate any terms of United States and India's bilateral agreements. So the Americans said, well, it is their way of doing it, but America did not pose any sanctions on United States. On the other hand, as the time goes and during Afghan war, you people are aware that when Pakistani nuclear program started developing, America started embargoing us. We did not receive our F-16s for which we have paid, and so it was, I would say, our nuclear program which started bringing first time Pakistan to realization that United States is and our interests really do not match. I went to India in 1992. That year was a very interesting year because I ended up in January 1992 in Delhi, and January 1992 Israel opened its embassy in India. And same year, first time India and United States Navy held bilateral exercises in Arabian Sea. But at the same time, what was happening? USSR was breaking up. And India realized that it cannot remain aligned to USSR, and so they started developing warmer relationships with United States. A roadblock came in these warming relationships in 1998 when India exploded nuclear weapons. But soon after that, India and the United States started having a strategic dialogue, which was also mentioned by Ambassador Hassan Habib. Jaswant Singh and Straub Talbot started meeting together on regular basis for laying the foundation of a long-term relationship between United States and United States and India. So when the turn of century came and 9/11 happened, India and United States were building up a new relationship, and soon we see from 2004 to 2014, that is the Congress government time, India and USA started having very good relationship, but India wanted to maintain its independent foreign policy. It was in 2014 when the Modi government came that India really hugged, I would say. They said, without any holds barred, they came closer to United States. There are other factors in US and India relationships. First of all, influence of the large Indian diaspora in USA. You see, Nikki Haley is an American Indian. I think 2 or 3 governors in America are American Indians. In 2 years, the figures available for 2 years, 2009 and 2010, more than 100,000 Indian students obtained their university and college degrees in the United States. So there are factors which are bringing these countries closer other than just security or international relations dimension. India and US now have a bilateral trade of $126 billion, and which is 25, which is, I would say, which is the Pakistan's total export. The $25 billion plus is in India's favor. So what are the military dimensions of this relationship? In 1962-63, America started supplying military equipment, but that was a period, and it stopped soon after when President Johnson became President of the United States, and America was embroiled in Vietnam War. In Vietnam War, America's role was very belligerently opposed by India. Then, since 1984, selected military supplies started from United States. America agreed to provide India 2 supercomputers. They agreed to give them technical help for engines for their aircraft, manufacturing, etc., etc. The first America and India military agreement took place in 2002, which was the General Security of Military Information Agreement. Soon afterwards, America started supplying, rather I would say India started purchasing American equipment. Can you show this first slide? The first slide may be well known to General Muinuddin Haidar. Artillery located radar. These were provided by America to by America to India in 2002, and these radars allow the Indians to locate artillery on a battlefield. In 2004, when Pakistan was made major non-NATO ally, India was also offered the same status by America, but the Indian government refused that we don't want that status. In, uh, uh, in 2008, America supplied C-130 aircraft for the first time to India. Now, both these technologies, the TPQ-137 and C-130, have been supplied to Pakistan before also. Then in 2008, America agreed to supply Harpoon missiles. Harpoon missiles has also been supplied to India. So Pakistan was watching all this and saying, hey, our military secrets are getting into Indian hands. But we couldn't do anything about it. But the very major supply, 2009, was P-8I Poseidon sea surveillance aircraft, an aircraft which is state-of-the-art, does not have world parallel. It can fly for 16 hours over sea. And India purchased these to make sure that the Chinese incursion in the Indian Ocean is under kept close watch. And this was a huge purchase. The purchase is of the order of $2.5 billion just for 8 aircraft. Then 2010 again we see Harpoon missiles, and 2011 Mark 54 torpedoes, anti-submarine torpedoes, because India needs the latest anti-submarine torpedoes to counter the Chinese submarines operating in the Indian Ocean. Next. Yeah. Then a major supply of India took place when India was provided this huge aircraft C-17, which allows India, actually why India has purchased this? India does not need them for Pakistan. It allows India to shift armed forces very rapidly throughout the Indian Ocean region. Pakistan, against Pakistan, it has virtually no role. You can carry tanks in this, you can carry artillery pieces, you can carry troops, large number of troops, and lately America has even offered to open the assembly line for these aircraft because to meet Indian needs. Next. Now, India has also purchased the howitzers from United States, because you remember in the Kargil conflict they used Bofors guns, and these guns are similar because they needed a newer version, so they purchased them from America. Next. Very surprisingly, United States, I would say India purchased sub-launched Harpoon for their submarines from United States. Now, Harpoon missile has a range of about 130, 150 kilometers. It can have mid-course guidance. It can be fired at the same target in a swarm mode, that a large number of missiles can come and target one missile. It can virtually incapacitate the enemy. Next, please. India is the only country which has been offered, and India has purchased Sky Guardian UAVs. These UAVs can remain in the sky for 24 hours, and they can also carry weapons. So America is, given them the latest technology, as was said by Mr. Nusrat Mirza also in his lecture, that India, the doors of American military hardware are open for India. In 2017, one more thing happened. Obama administration, generally, administrations in America, the presidents do not change policy when they are going out. But in January 2017, when President Trump was about to take oath of office, America declared India as its major defense partner. And this status in America is only enjoyed by very close military allies: Australia, Japan, New Zealand, South Korea. These are, plus India. These are, so India became the 5th country to be declared major defense partner of USA. So, to interest to Pakistanis, we, behind most of our trucks, we see F-16 aircrafts. Lockheed Martin has agreed to shift the whole factory of F-16 to India. Yeah, it will not make difference. I know it will not make difference. We have our own. And as Ambassador Hassan Habib said, India's import of US hardware is now amounting to $15 billion in last, I would say, only about 14 years. One more thing which happened, and because of the paucity of time, I'm sure the other speakers did not speak about it. India started receiving United States support and open advocacy for becoming a member of Nuclear Suppliers Group, and that has been happening since 2010. India today is not member of Nuclear Suppliers Group only because of Chinese veto. Otherwise, they would be member of NSG. Then America is also supporting India that you should be a permanent member of UN Security Council. Now talking about the naval dimension, Malabar series of Indo-US joint exercises have been held since 1992. So far, 20 exercises have been held. And the countries which have participated in these exercises, which have taken place in Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, and Western Pacific, include Australia, Japan, and Singapore. So 5 countries have participated in these series of exercises. Lately, a defense pact by the name of the quadrilateral is being talked about, which is Australia, Japan, US, and India, to stop and to really face the growing Chinese influence in the region. What are the implications for Pakistan? I will be very brief. Very brief. I will be very brief. First of all, it affects us in Afghanistan. It affects China-Pakistan economic corridor. Then, because America has its hand on the back of India, so India has now become very strident as far as our relationship between India-Pakistan is concerned. India is now seeing that it will be the major power which will control the Indian Ocean, and we also see the effect in UN organization. In conclusion, I would say that we have to watch this situation very carefully, but we should not, as Ambassador Hilali said, that no knee-jerk reaction should be shown by Pakistan. Thank you very much.